It's a tough process. So, well, more politics, of course. And this weekend, while it is Father's Day, President Trump is heading to Camp David for the first time, the traditional presidential retreat, where he will be there with his family enjoying Father's Day. And a little bit of a quiet weekend after a very busy week, but pressure growing right now for the president to do something about the special counsel, Robert Mueller or Rosenstein. Should they recuse themselves? Are they conflicted? A lot of different viewpoints coming from his supporters, one of which is Newt Gingrich, the former Speaker of the House. And he's got a particular opinion about the types of people Bob Mueller is putting around him and what it may mean about this investigation. Take a listen.
One of the people they've hired, that Mueller's hired, actually worked for the Clinton Foundation fighting Freedom of Information Act requests. Now think about that. If you want a guarantee of non-transparency, why don't you have the person who is defending the Clinton Foundation against requests for transparency?
That's a problem. That right there is a problem.
I mean, you're a lawyer. You understand this stuff.
Look, I believe all lawyers they take an oath. You know, they really need to follow the best thing that they can do for their client, and they need to be ethical and all that good stuff. But this just smells bad. You don't need to be a lawyer for this. This just smells bad. You know, it's kind of like the fox in the henhouse type
Right,
deal.
and that's why there have been a lot of rumors about President Trump firing Mueller, right? But you think about the optics of that, I think they would be terrible. I don't think he can outright, very challenging, and it's not something that he needs right now on his plate, because we already know what the narrative of that is going to be. So the New York Post actually has an interesting piece out, giving him sort of a different idea, a way to sort of take the upper hand on this whole thing. They suggest firing the people around him, like Jeff Sessions, Rod Rosenstein, putting people in that can defend you, that can be sort of the people that can...
It's an op-ed in the New York Post from Michael Goodwin, and he does make a unique argument, whether you agree with it or not. He says President Trump can begin by firing two other people, Attorney General Jeff Sessions and his deputy Rod Rosenstein. Trump is not being served well by either man, and with his presidency possibly hanging in the balance of Mueller's probe, he must regain control of the Justice Department. Replacing the top two officials is the first step. Now, that's a big charge, because Jeff Sessions has been a Trump loyalist from the beginning.
Yep.
You know he's had the president's back from the beginning. You know he's doing the best he can. There's just criticism of, well, should he have recused himself in the first place? This whole investigation's become a bit of a mess. Can you really get rid of Mueller because of the optics, as you said? Even if he is conflicted, he is the former FBI director. Rosenstein, should he recuse himself? What if he doesn't? And but what the President Trump is doing this weekend, you might say, is what his critics have been telling him to do. Step back, let your surrogates go onto the Sunday shows. Jay Sekulow and other lawyers are going to go on the offense aggressively on his behalf. He hasn't been tweeting about it. So they may be gathering for a strategy this coming week of how they want to get their arms around an investigation that, as you said, doesn't look good when you're hiring this many high-powered lawyers, many of which have left-wing Democratic ties to the Clinton Foundation. And what are they looking for? What's the scope of this investigation? How far could it go? It really does feel like a witch hunt.
Yeah, it does, and it has gotten so complicated, this whole investigation. It seems like no matter what anyone does, it's going to be talked negatively about in the media. I think you have a lot of Trump loyalists who would be really upset if someone like Jeff Sessions were let go, because, as you said, he was with them from the very early days of the campaign. One of the things we know about President Trump is he's very, very loyal. So,
and if problems are leaks, then you need people that you know aren't leakers, that do support you. And Jeff Sessions may not have been perfect, but the guy's been on point.
So what is the answer,
supporters,
then, Todd?
right? Well, speaking of supporters, you need supporters in this kind of a situation, because we've seen the left is very, very vocal throughout this entire process. Trump does need supporters. And Judge Jeanine really sort of went off on the Republican Party, quite frankly, and here's what she had to say.
You want to talk Russia? Let's talk about Russia. Let's talk about the sale of 20% of our uranium to Russia and Hillary Clinton signing off on the deal. The Clinton Foundation, that slush fund for Hillary, receiving $140 million. And Bill Clinton getting more than twice or triple his normal speech fee. You're empowered, damn it. Do something. Pass something. Cut this kumbaya crap. Put on your big boy pants and act like you're in power. Act like you give a damn. And more importantly, convince us that you're not in on the effort to take down the President of the United States.
Well,
Wow.
if you weren't doing it,
There you go.
wow.
Hello.
I have never seen Judge Jeanine so passionate. Maybe President Trump should hire her to be one of his defenders,
Well,
because that is what he has needed. He has needed people that he, as you said, that he surrounds himself with that can bat for him, that can support him, that can really go against the media and the left wing that continue to fight against
That
the
don't
president.
say on the one hand and on the other. I mean, you see
Right.
Speaker Gingrich is such a great advocate for that. But look at Capitol Hill. Who else is out there? There are some great junior Congressman Duncan Hunter will be on the program later on today. He's been full-throated in support of the president. But where's Paul Ryan? How about Mitch McConnell? I want a missing poster for Mitch McConnell. Where is he? What does he do?
And look how
what has he done to
unified-
defend the president? How are we fighting back against leftists like Elizabeth Warren, who are saying we're going to get nastier, as we're going to find out later in the program as well? It's time to fight.
Look how unified the left is. I mean, the left guy has their ducks in a row. They can organize. They can mobilize a nation. President Trump did that, but the Republicans, at least many of them, seem fractured. They don't seem to be backing up the president. And again, I keep going back. I know this was a name of a movie. I always go back to Team America. All this divisiveness,
Right.
all this confusion, as you use the word. This isn't helping us. And
Team America? No, it's Team GOP if you're a GOPer.
All
Because
right.
the left got rid of Team America a long time ago. They're coming after President Trump no matter what. If it was Team America, they'd be at the table talking
No,
about
but I
healthcare
think you make a
and
good
healthcare
point.
and tax
And yes,
reform.
the resistance movement isn't helping anybody. But if you
I
look
mean-
back at our country's history, whenever we have something huge pass, whenever there are those big moments, it is both sides of the aisle coming together. Mainly one side, but you
Right,
need
Reagan,
folks
Tip
from the other.
O'Neill.
And
Right.
President
But
Trump
we're
ran.
fighting the Tip O'Neill.
President
Where
Trump.
is he?
President Trump ran on that, though. He said, "I can be different when I come in. I can actually bring people together. That's what I did as a businessman." And I do believe he can do that, but he also needs help from folks on Capitol Hill, and mainly from his own party. We're not seeing that yet.
So did Barack Obama, and then he rammed a health care bill down our throat with only Democratic votes. So this whole fallacy that both sides are working together, I want to believe it. I do. Listen, who wants this type of... But the reality is either your team wins or your team loses. And right now, as you said, Todd, the Democratic Party has closed ranks in their resistance. There's no cracks in their wall. Yet for Republicans, you've got only a few full-throated supporters, and now's the time to have the back of your president if you believe in his agenda, which ultimately, if you believe in his agenda, you think it's the best thing for America.
Woo, we are wired this
We are
morning.
ready to go.
We are
Coffee.
up, we are ready to go. I hope you're joining us. I do, though, want to get to some other headlines we're following closely, starting with a Fox News alert. More than 24 people are injured, some critically, after a deck collapses at a Montana lodge, with the incident happening at Glacier Camp. During a memorial service, about 50 people were there.